Hello, everyone. I'm Edith Wolek. I'm here with Sarah Grant, who is image consultant and an onion chef. We just had a laugh about it, but hi, Sarah.
Hi, Edith. Thank you for inviting me. It's all very fun. Great.
You're very welcome. Pleasure to have you here. Can you please tell us, what do you do, and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm an image consultant, but I always say I'm the onion chef as well. And people say, what the hell is that, Sarah? Because not only am I an image consultant, I did my NLP training as a practitioner. And so I always say to people, it's when you get an onion, when we cut an onion open, not always, and we can't make assumptions, we can get tears. So, and sometimes, when people come to me, it's not always about the clothes. So we cut that onion open. If there's tears, I help you put the onion back together and hopefully disperse those tears and put it back more in a more, when I say constructive, it's not that, but going with your intuition and heartfelt, and help you get rid of those tears. And then the outer crunchy part is your clothing, because you have to address the internal dialogue that we have with ourselves first and foremost. So that's how I like to, when somebody asks about the onion chef, that's that part of it. It's just a little bit of quirkiness, but it actually explains it really well.
Fabulous. It's a great combination of those two, your training and your image consulting business.
Yes. So yes. Anyway, so you asked me about me. So yes, I started my business about 14 years ago. It was from a very, very negative experience that has turned into my biggest positive. So this is why I love to help women, empower them, not always just through my work, but just meeting people in the street sometimes, having that chat with them. So actually 15 years ago, my husband left. Not only did he leave me, he left with a very good friend of mine. So obviously that left me in a really dark place for a good couple of years. And, I had 3 children, and it was their emotional needs that were paramount at the time. So, you expect some of you will think, my God, it was so hard, because in some ways you wanted to down them because of what they'd done, but there was no way I was going to poison my children against their father, because he was and is a very good dad. But his words were to me, Sarah, that you're kind and you're caring, you're lovely to live with, but you don't need me. I won't go into the reasons, everything else, but to me, that has always stayed with me. On anything that we do in life, we should do it because we want to do it, not because we need. So if you, whether it be a friend that you need in your life to fulfill you, that puts an awful lot of pressure on that friend, or whatever it may be, situation, to fulfill your needs. We have to fulfill our own internal dialogue and our hearts before we can then be happy, and we need to be fulfilled ourselves before we can help anybody else. But yeah,
totally.
So that was that. So after a couple of years, a friend of mine said, Sarah, we're going to get you on Match.com. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Match.com. And I can remember this day so clearly. So I did do Match.com. And it was so funny. It was all the winks. So if any ladies watching done Match.com will know what I mean about the winks. And I did meet somebody who was lovely, but he wanted me to live in his pocket. But that day I particularly remember coming home. It was a really lovely sunny day, and I thought, I can't live like this anymore. I have got to get out there and step up and shine, because I'm a swimmer. And I kept sinking. I kept bobbing to the top and then sinking back again. I thought, no, I've got to take control of this, because nobody else could take control of it myself. And some ladies might know, there was a program many, many years ago And because I'm 63, so it's a long time ago, and it was called The Prisoner. And it had Patrick McGowan, or McGowan, can't remember now how you pronounce his name. And it was a program made in Port Miriam, which is a little village, and it's an Italian village. Somebody went to Italy, fell in love with it, and replicated, and it's called Port Miriam. Mm-hmm. And in this film, Patrick McGowan used to try and escape, and he'd run across the beach, and this great big ball would come out of the sea and engulf him. And that day, that's the vision I had. So I just thought, like, this ball, I'm going to grab that ball. It's not going to grab me. And I put it to one side, and everything that was in my head went in this ball. And I also had my mother who was ill, and she'd never been in her life. My daughter wouldn't speak to her dad for 2 years. It was just a bit of a nightmare, really, and going through divorce. So what I did, I put everything in that ball. And then when I needed to deal with something, I'd go in, pull it out of the ball, deal with it. If I couldn't deal with it, for whatever reason, I'd have to put it back again. I'm not saying it worked all the time, but if I held on to that strategy, it just helped me breathe and live a little bit better. So that is such a strong, strong vision. So that was one thing. And then my friend who said about Match.com, she said, Sarah, a friend of mine is opening a Danish clothing shop. Why don't you do a couple of days a week? That's what I did. And I love people. Give me people any day. I just absolutely love them. And I've always been creative. I'm not academic, and I don't want to be, because when you're creative, you're never bored. You know, your mind is always whizzing around and thinking. And so I'd always been sewing. I've got a sewing room so I can create. So that part was always there. And it was there that I loved dressing ladies. I knew when something worked, but I didn't know the reasons why. And then somebody said to me, why don't you become a personal shopper? And I thought, oh, that's so shallow. No, I can't do it, as much as I loved it. And then I started researching. I thought, well, let's give it a go. And I found a fabulous company in Warwick. And I think I must have spent that first year was a whole week, then another week. I can't remember how many weeks in total. And loved it. And it was there that somebody told me about NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I'd never heard of it. And basically, I did my diploma, and then I did my practitioner's course. And that was another turning point. And finding Nichiren and Daishonin Buddhism, which is a massive connection there. And the NLP helped me so much. And I thought, this could really help my clients. Because as I've said to you before, Edith, it's not always about the clothes. It can often be about that internal dialogue women have with themselves. You know, especially as we get older, our body is changing shape. Our boobs aren't in the right same place that they used to be. They need to be hoisted up. They've grown. You know, we've got the muffin top, and I've got one of those. So how do you dress? Because you are going to dress differently if you have that muffin top. No, gone are the days where I tuck a top in. You've got that lovely shape, no muffin. Whereas I do that now, I can't do that unless I wear much higher waisted trousers, but our waist thickens. So that's where the NLP, and I say about, comes into it, and talking, you've got to shine from the inside out first and foremost. And it's always about feel. You know, somebody can, you know this, Edith, we can say to somebody, you look great. But if you're not feeling it, there is zilch point. Everything in life is about how we feel about our friendships, our partners, our husbands. You know, it could be the smell of something or the memory of something. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. It's about listening to your intuition. And I always say, you know, out of that massive negative has been my biggest positive. And in a way, I mean, I don't speak to this girlfriend and I have no interest. But what I'm grateful to her for is she taught me to listen to my intuition, because I ignored it when I had those 8 months where I knew what she was doing. I used to think, no, she's not doing that. Sarah, how can you think those awful thoughts of your friend? And I used to think, no. But this thing, it was like this tapping on my chest. So she's really taught me to listen to my intuition, which I do all the time. And that's what I encourage ladies to do on everything. This isn't just about image. It can be lots of other areas that we touch. So that's a little bit of how I got to live my passion, and I love it.
Amazing. One thing that comes to my mind when the airplane is in that mode of about to crash, or you put your mask first on you and then take care of others. If you don't do it for you, then you are not able to help anybody else.
It's so true. And I remember, someone said about you have to love yourself. And I used to think, oh, that's so conceited. Oh, but my God, it is so true. Because it's not in that conceited way. You have to love who you are, because you can't exuberate that love out. And I feel the difference. And people sometimes say to me, Sarah, how did you get from where you were to where you are now? And I do talk about loving yourself and being happy and finding the positives in as many, if you've got negatives, find the positives in that negative, because there's something somewhere, hopefully.
Totally. This is amazing. So now we know what have motivated you to start your business, and what steps have you taken to create that vision? What did you do first?
Well, I think you've always got to have that vision in your head, because if you let it go and you have that self-doubt coming into your mind, which, don't get me wrong, it pops in all the time and we have to whack it away. So it's keeping that vision and being consistent in what you do. And again, none of this is easy. It's just really focusing on your goal and what you want. And mine, and I've said before, it is not driven by money. Mine is driven by my heart. I was approached to do something, which I did tell you about before, which I won't say at the moment on here. And if it had been money driven, I couldn't have done it. And I know that's weird when you're in business, but I think when you stop focusing on the final outcome, the money, and focusing what is in your heart and really what drives you, that is the thing that takes those steps forward and it is continuously driving you. And, it is those limiting beliefs that stop us. And I think I've told you before, I'm dyslexic. So for me, writing, I used to think, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it's fine. And I still have to get that negative belief out of me, because it still keeps cropping up all the time. So it is focusing and surrounding yourself by people that want to support you, because sometimes you get really good friends and sometimes you get these little negative things that are thrown at you and you're thinking, like this. But when it's women in business, we often know how each other's feeling. So it's about supporting them and not pulling people down.
Perfectly said. And you have so much knowledge and so much experience, and you shine with your confidence. So I would like to find out, how did you gain the authority in your community, in the people that you've created around you, the teams you've created around you?
Again, it's showing up as me. I can't show up as anybody else. But yes, it's showing up as me and building my confidence up, because as soon as you build your confidence, when you start talking to clients, they they know that you're confident in your profession. And I'll always say, that experience is the thing that you'll remember more than you will often the service. So it's all those little bits and pieces. And I think people remember you for that. I know when I do the retreats, somebody has said, I love that you squeeze the oranges. So it's freshly squeezed oranges like my mum used to do when we were children. Excuse me. So yes, it's I often say it's helping other women. You know, sometimes it could be people have contacted me, said, Sarah, can I have a bit of advice? And I'm happy just to put them in the right direction. As I said, it's heart driven. And surrounding yourself, you know, lots of networking. I mean, I met you, Edith, didn't we? We were on a summit.
Yeah.
And the connections that you build with people, and it's just amazing. So it's all that networking around you and supporting one another is completely vital to getting yourself out there. And, you know, I always say share people's content, you know, because that gets them out there. So it's not just about you. It's a big community, and doing it that way. So I've had lots of collaborations with people, lots, which has made a massive difference.
This is really great, great information and great value for our audience. So if you can share the gift that you are offering to our audience as we're coming to a close of this interview.
So yes, well, what happened was my other, if I can say this at the moment, my other passion is baking and cooking, and I love nurturing people. I love having people stay at my home. So yes, I had a light bulb moment with a friend. She's a public speaker, and she said, Sarah, you need to apply for the Great British Bake Off. And I'm thinking, really? I did, but I knew I didn't have enough cakes, but it gave me my light bulb moment. So what you think is going to happen doesn't always, it takes you in a different direction. So, and I thought, why don't I put all my passions together and do styling retreats from home? Because it's got the image side I love, the nurturing there, and I love the cooking and the baking. So I bake the bread that's made with my hands. It's not in a machine. So that's what I started. So the clients will come. It doesn't have to be on a weekend. They come at, say, 9:30, we have a chat and a coffee, and I would have had a Zoom beforehand so that I get to know the essence of that person. Obviously, you don't know properly. It's not till they come in the house that you actually feel their energy.
Yeah.
And so we have a full colour analysis. It's either for one or two ladies, and then it's lunch, which is often homemade soup and homemade bread. And in the afternoon, it's style. So the ladies get to bring 5 items they love, 5 items they hate, and any other bits and pieces. And then we look at why they love those items and why they hate them, and lots of bits and pieces like that. And then in the evening, they can often go off for a walk, or they can sit while I'm cooking dinner. The choice is theirs. So I can hear the phone in the background. And or the last lady that came, it was just her and I, and we had 2 5-mile walks. So the evening is wherever you lead me. The evening is not about me teaching you. It's just, let's see where the conversation goes.
Yeah.
And then the next day they get a makeup tutorial. So I turn up with makeup, without makeup, should I say, and they do it, because if I did it for you, you wouldn't know how to do it. So it's you doing it so that you can replicate that look when you go home. And they also have a hairdressing tutorial, because many years ago, my background was hairdressing. So again, it's teaching you how to get root lift. You know, I've got this wonderful hairdryer. It's not a Dyson. So yeah, and then we have another lunch. They go on their way. I am adding in at some point about the shopping, because that is where the magic happens. So, you know, all the food is provided. They get goodie bags. I've got all my towels, beautiful towels with my logo. They've got dressing gowns, slippers. They've got all the Tropic products to use, which are 100% natural. So yes, if they want to come, I'm offering 20% off, and I've put the discount code in there, which was Edia Emperors 20 to get the 20% off. And I've also said to ladies, you know, there's a complimentary Zoom call for 20 minutes. Invariably, it will go over.
No worries. I'm going to add the link to the email that our audience is going to be receiving, so that it's all there for them to have fun. And we are in. Tell us where you are, because it's a.
I'm in Otford in Kent. So there's a station which is literally a 3-minute walk from me, and there's Sevenoaks. So I do go and pick clients up if need be, if they're not going to drive. And the other thing that I do is the voluntary work with Look Good, Feel Better. So just ladies, if you know anybody that's had or going through cancer treatment, they've lost their eyebrows, their eyelashes, they do fabulous workshops. I mean, through lockdown, we couldn't do the makeup one, but I've now been asked to do the body confidence workshops as well. So yes,
so generous of you.
It's wonderful, and I'll show. This is I'll just show you one of these ladies. What happens when you wear black and no makeup, and what happens when you wear makeup and colour.
Beautiful.
That was a calendar I produced for 2017. So yeah, but anyone's listening, do go and look at Look Good, Feel Better. It's a worldwide charity, and it's fabulous.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for this interview, and you have given so much value to our audience.
Thank you, Edith.
Lovely speaking with you, and I see you soon.
I will see you on Saturday.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, ladies. Bye.